Welcome to this video. Amerind haplogroup, QM242. Apart from this Amerind haplogroup, QM242, there is no other group that reached this range, and had an equal impact on the formation of ancient cultures, and the world as it is today. According to recent ancient DNA research of David Reich, the DNA of Western Europeans, today is most similar to the DNA of the Amazon Amerinds. Here are two possibilities. 1. According to me, JM, the Amazon Amerinds did expand to and through the Ob and Yenisei River, entry in Siberia to Eurasia, and the rest of the world, including to Western Europe, and I provide preliminary evidence of this by maps shown in this video. I already showed clear evidence in other videos. 2. According to consensus, Africans, Homo sapiens kind of the new Western Eurasians, ended up in the region of the lower, delta, or northern Arctic, part of the Ob and Yenisei rivers. Consensus probably claims this to try to explain the purple dot of high frequency of QM242 map, high up in Arctic Siberia. Further, according to consensus, the migrants in one next step pull through all the way to and directly into the Amazon forest. They only could have done so after crossing over masses of mountainous areas that present all year long the deepest permafrost of this planet, after crossing Beringia, after crossing the whole of North Alaska, Canada, USA, and Central America, Mexico, and a whole range of mountainous and volcanic countries, and last, but not least, the Panamanian Isthmus, the Andes, etc. IOJM think this is highly illogical and improbable, also since this are Arctic and permafrost extremes and regions of Siberia. It does not make sense that they're out of Africans to kind of lock themselves up in a such harsh region, especially since there are several large extensions of mountains between the Ob and Yenisei purple dot location and Beringia, making up for one of or the harshest permafrost and mountainous regions of this planet. The next move right after would be a hurried non-stop to the Amazon forest in South America, which for other reasons also is amongst the harshest regions of the world, and that according to records, only the Amerinds with their very special red blood cells, RBC, could survive and thrive. As far as I am aware, the only group that presents this very special red blood cells, RBC, are of the pure blood group O group. This non-stop pull to the Amazon forest is demanded by researchers, because recent research proves that the first Amerinds appeared in the South America Amazon forest and region and expanded outward in a star-like form from inside the Amazon forest outwards. The Amazon Amerinds of the rest of the Americas are demanded to have descendant from another wave, and consensus claims the rest of the Americas once again has to come from Asia and Africa, and the Middle East before Asia again through Beringia, that are said presents too much permafrost and lack of suitable rivers needed to pass. In other videos, I will show quite a lot of evidence that this was highly improbable, or even impossible. Amazon Amerinds cannot descend from Africans or Western Europeans. 1. In principle, when I speak of a certain pure blood group, I mean that the whole of the group or population presents one particular blood group. In practice there is only one such group, and that is the Amerinds. For consensus this is a serious paradigm, but they seem not to question. For me, JM, this supposed curiosity is only one minor, but very symbolic indication that the Amerinds are the ancestors of all humans. All Amazon Amerinds have pure blood group O, and Western Europeans do not have pure blood group O. Blood group O is a recessive blood group. This is so according to fundamental biology, and means that pure blood group O cannot descend from not pure blood group O. However, all other blood groups can descend from blood group O if they hybridize with blood groups A, B, or AB. In other words, according to fundamental biology, Amazon Amerinds cannot descend from Western Europeans nor from any other group or continent, and consequently they are the ancestors of all humans. When one defines a certain blood group as a pure blood group, only when it is not mixed with other blood groups, then indeed the Amerinds, once again, or for the second time, are the only group or population that presents a pure blood group. When one defines a certain blood group as a pure blood group, only when it is not mixed with other blood groups, then indeed the Amerinds, once again, or for the third time, are the only group or population that presents a pure blood group. When one defines a certain blood group as a pure blood group, only when its red blood cells, or RBC, have no antigens attached to it, then indeed the Amerinds, once again, or for the fourth time, are the only group or population that presents a pure blood group. It is known that the attachment of antigens A and B to red blood cells, or RBC, is something not older than the last 20,000 years, roughly the end of the last ice age, and the beginning of the hybrid era. When one does research for the exact date, one will not easily find evidence or a date. Once this would be confirmed and verified, this would be the next evidence, or proof of the Amerinds being the ancestors of all modern humans. In another video, I will provide evidence that an additional antigen, like A and B, cannot be explained by a simple, or normal mutation, further that the sequence of adding an antigen turns out to be first antigen B Bravo, similar to gorilla, and then antigen A alpha, dominant in chimpanzees. The fact that a similar addition of the same antigens by another identical antigen, as the one to mitochondrial Eve, this time in the Neanderthals, adds to the evidence there was nothing random about this addition, or in other words, in both cases, the Homo sapiens and the Neanderthal case, the same hybridization with the same mtDNA was needed for both occurrences. Mitochondrial Eve, and much earlier the Neanderthal, receive hybrid mtDNA directly from in Africa, entering already hybridized Amerinds. A similar, but even more surprising, turnover, this time of all mitochondrial DNA by another certain mitochondrial DNA, the one that supposedly characterized Homo sapiens, with the female carrier also coined or nicknamed mitochondrial Eve, takes places in the DNA of Africans, Homo sapiens, but also found in a later and recent discovery that was not exposed by consensus, and this hundreds of thousands of years earlier, in Neanderthals, that not even have presence in sub-Saharan Africa. Put in a normal sentence. The African DNA, or mitochondrial Eve DNA, the mitochondrial haplogroup L, was already carried by Neanderthals, but then hundreds of thousands of years earlier, and both received it from modern humans. The only explanation here is that the modern humans, that passed the African DNA, or mitochondrial Eve DNA on to the Neanderthal and later to the Africans, Homo sapiens, were the already hybridized Amerinds hybridized with that same mitochondrial Eve DNA. The location of this supposed mitochondrial Eve DNA is in line with the location of the occurrences, entry of Amerinds from the Americas, on the West African and other African entries. The currents, gyre and pooling of currents that brings the Amerinds forward to Africa, and back to the Americas, is explained in another video. All the above adds to the evidence there was nothing random about these changes, turnovers, etc., or in other words, all the above adds clear evidence of hybridization. This is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Giving a thumbs up is also a way to know if you already assisted a certain video. We hope to see you in our next video.